What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I hope everyone is okay. It's a little bit of an interesting day today. I mean, today was playing out all right, and then it kind of all went to shit pretty quickly. So anyway, hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are feeling refreshed and, yeah, optimistic. I mean, maybe should we be optimistic? I don't know. Maybe we should. We're going to talk about all that in tonight's stream. Got quite a bit to get into, and it's going to be slightly different. It is going to be slightly different this live stream, because I do want to sort of think about what is the pivot. Now, just to be clear, by the way, just so if anyone's kind of coming in going, "Oh, I can't be asked to listen to him because he's going to go super bearish on the market," I'm not. By the way, I'm not going to go bearish on the market. I am going to be pragmatic about the market, and I do think there is some conversations that we probably need to have to best position ourselves for what's coming. That's just my view, by the way. You look at the macro, look at some of the data, etc., etc., etc. We're going to talk a bit about that. I do actually have the Trump interview going on right now, but he's talking about pharmaceuticals, I believe. So I thought, well, there was loads of rumors that he might actually bring some sort of crypto stuff up, but I don't believe he is. I will sort of just... is it weird if I keep my headphones on? Maybe it is a bit weird, but I can... can I do this? No. So I can't actually hear it. Maybe it is weird with my headphones on, but maybe I'll just keep them on just so I can hear what's going on, because I want to make sure that we don't miss anything. But at the same time, I don't believe it is anything to do with the crypto market, which, I mean, were we expecting it? Probably not. We're more likely to get... the reason why the market's been taking a dump today. So we'll talk a bit about that as well, right? We'll talk a bit about that. So yeah. So in conclusion, you think that we are in a bear market? No. No, not yet. I'm going to talk about what I think and some of the reasons why I am pushing towards a different strategy. Casey, what's going on? So anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's hello to a few people, and then we're going to get into it. So Stardog's here, says we are cooked. That's the little first comment I ever wanted to read, but anyway. Magic Craig's here, Tim's here. What's going on? Welcome in, Matt. Yo, how's it going? It's going good, man. Yeah, Tomato Pizza here, Swamp Donkey. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, 2-bit better give the folks a pep talk. We're still in a bull market as long as BTC holds over 100k. Hope so. Beebs, what's going on? Tomato Pete, Robert Dover's here. Welcome. Kevin Sexton in the building. Curtis and Holmes is here. You guys have all got your first names as well, which is obviously super weird. But anyway, and then welcome in on TikTok as well. You guys are super bullish. So do me a favor, smash the like button to a brand new all-time high. Also, just tap the screen. Lock in some of those likes. I would really appreciate it. And we're going to talk all the latest with what's going on with this market as well. So, okay. Let's talk a little bit about the charts, and then we're going to sort of talk a little bit about something else. So, I'm just wondering if I can do this, by the way. Although I don't think I can, actually. I'm talking nonsense. I was thinking if I can do a slightly better angle for TikTok, but I don't think I can, right? Okay, let's talk a little bit about the charts. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on, and let's then get into some of the key things that I want to talk about. Some of the reasons why I may have, and just so we're, again, super clear, by the way, I haven't sold anything. I haven't gone into stablecoin or anything like that. I'm not saying that it's off the cards, but I haven't done it yet. So, again, just sort of worthwhile noting, I guess, a little bit. So, where are we at in terms of BTC? Now, here's the thing. We did lose this key support level, which is not good. All right, let's just call it as it is. This is not good. This is 110,000. What's sort of bizarre about today, and I guess what mitigates this a little bit, is that the reason why we lost this support level and the reason why we've got this ended up with this big red candle, because if you break it down into, say, the 30-minute chart, for example, it was actually kind of playing out okay today. BTC was looking pretty solid. You can sort of take from the early part of the morning, which is here. So we saw Asia open and not really do anything too crazy. We sort of rejection here at the 20-day EMA, but came back down, retested this lower range here. No surprise. Bounced again, retested on the UK, struck European markets, open again. We got that. Didn't really do anything there. Even down to the US open. Okay, we retested this. So again, this acting as a really strong support in terms of this line. This is why I was saying this is a... oh, shit. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. So, tell me what's going on, buddy. So, this is what I was talking about. So, this was obviously... this is obviously last night. This was the Asia Open, and then we dumped into it. So, this was, you know, India, Malaysia, all the rest of it open. We dumped, retested this line. We then got the European Open. We retested this line yet again, bounced. And then we even got the US Open here. So you got 3 points here where we did open up on markets and actually held pretty well. And we actually got some push-ups in the market, breaking up the 50-day EMA here and actually starting to look like this kind of move was pretty optimistic. Here is the problem. And the problem came in at around 5 o'clock this evening. Now, if you've been watching and sort of stuck to the markets, you sort of know, you know what this is. And this could play out bad. But the underlying reason for this means that although this line has been invalidated for me at the minute, I don't believe this entire macro move has been invalidated. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I think that is. Really, really quickly, I'm just going to jump dead forward and show you the chart that's up 2.5%. And this should give you an indication as to, I guess, what the thesis is going to be. And maybe why right now I haven't gone into stablecoin. Obviously I've been saying this line's really, really important and we have broke below it. But I also talk about the fact that you've got to understand why you've broke down. If you understand why you broke down and why something's happened, then you can kind of make a bit more of I guess, an honest answer. So the rest of the markets obviously took another massive hit, which is kind of pretty frustrating. As you see, many altcoins now are down 2%, 3%, etc. Now, weirdly, I actually did take a short earlier from the 109,800 or something. I closed it out about 108,500. So nothing crazy. I think I made about $600, but nothing crazy. But I did take a short because I did feel like the market was weak, but I expected it to bounce back, and we didn't kind of get the bounce back. But I'm going to talk a bit about why. But generally speaking, the markets are down, as is the overall market. Now, 3.62 trillion as the overall global market isn't actually the worst number in the world. And when you look at this as a support level, you've got a very big support here that comes across that we've, again, hit on a number of occasions that have actually formed some pretty solid support, which would be this line here. Now, it sits about 3.58 trillion dollars. So this kind of is a key support here for the macro sentiment. You can see it back here when we had the run up. We saw the retest here. Equally, we saw the retest on the flash crash, and then obviously potentially we're going to retest this. So this becomes an important metric to look at and equally kind of keep up to us in terms of how this looks. So I don't intend on going through every altcoin. Ethereum still holding up these key levels that we've been talking about. So ETH actually holding up solidly on some of these key levels outside of Bitcoin. So then you start to narrow this conversation down that says, well, maybe this was a bit more about Bitcoin as opposed to it being about anything specific, broader market crash, etc., etc., etc. Now, you have to understand some of the things we've been talking about recently. It's something that I couldn't put my hand on. If you remember, I was talking about this. I think it was last night I was maybe talking about it. But I said I couldn't understand why banks were buying so much gold. I couldn't understand it. It didn't make sense to me, right? Didn't make sense to me. Why all of a sudden have the banks come out of nowhere and are now buying an absolute shit ton of gold? I mean, literally more gold than they've ever bought in the last 100 years. Okay, that's kind of crazy to me, and it kind of now is all starting to play out. It is all starting to play out pretty interestingly. Now, it aligns to macroeconomics that we discussed last night. And I think it's going to align to something we're going to talk about now. And we're going to break it down on what it is. So when you take a look at gold right now, the chart's obviously going absolutely parabolic. What does this tell us? It tells us that the rate of people buying gold is pretty insane. We've never seen gold being bought like we have been. Okay. Does this mean that capital's been injected into the market specifically to go and buy gold? Or when you look at the macro sentiment, does it mean that you've got currently capital moving out of one commodity and moving into another? Would it be fair to hypothesize that at the moment people are exiting the crypto market and they are going into gold? Now, if you think of a traditional, very early investor or equally a very naive investor into any sort of markets, they will always follow the hype. They will always do it. Now, think about this as well. Gold has been bought by banks. We touched on this a number of times. But lots of people are now going into gold. This could therefore play out in a longer term idea that, well, if BTC follows the same pattern, I know you can't be specifically accurate to this point, but what it does tell us is exactly as redemption says, it tells us that it's risk off. People are not keen on a risk at the minute. And there's a number of reasons why they don't want to be don't want to be keen on risk. There's global tensions in the US with China and the US. Also, though, the banking system is under incredible strain, and it's all being kept very, very quiet. Now, this is why gold is being bought up, in my opinion, by a lot of money. The regional banking sector, right? The regional banking sector is absolutely on the risk of collapsing. We saw this before with Citibank, Silvergate Bank. I can't remember the other one, but there was three, weren't there, that ended up with massive withdrawals. Now, you kind of put two and two together. You see massive withdrawals in Binance. I'm not saying that this is particularly down to the banking structure, but in March 2023, regional bank stocks collapsed. This was the Citibank. This was the Silvergate Bank. If you remember, we were actually covering it here live on the stream. Banks who oversized risk with either bookstopped by US government or acquired by JP Morgan. So these were people that were offering ridiculous loans, big mortgages, non-collateralized assets that was put out there. As a result, this further incentivized taking on risks, particularly as deposits over $250,000 FDIC limit is now inherently insured. Basically, the US government's going to step in and protect you if that was the case. So investors and regional bank companies know that the US government will backstop deposits in the case of a collapse. Again, this was discussed quite heavily at the old Citibank, Silvergate Bank. And actually, they were at that moment in time, if you remember, deemed as the reason they collapsed was because they were crypto banks. Gary Gensler, many others came out saying, well, they offered crypto things. Now, fast forward to today. Investors and regional bank companies know the US government, I said that today, shares as Zion's Bancor crashed 13% after it disclosed a $50 million charge off for a loan underwritten by its subsidiaries. Okay, that's not good. Western Alliance Bank stock fell 12% as it said it's dealing with a borrower that failed to provide collateral loans for its first position. Bear in mind, these aren't like, oh, Sheila was going to get a car and so she needed to buy insurance with Sheila's wheels. These are like corporate entities that have over-leveraged on high interest rates. Sum all this up, the regional bank stock fall, the entire market falls because confidence was never restored in regional banks. The regional bank crisis was simply swept under the rug. The reality is, we are starting to see this play out. And the reason we can see it is that gold is going crazy by massive amounts. I mean, look at this. Look at this spike today. I mean, this is kind of like stupid shit money. Do you know what I mean? This is like crazy, crazy stuff. When you look at that 221,000 ounces of gold, I think it is, that's going to be on here. I mean, that's like a fucking ridiculous amount of capital that's flowing in. You can see that 221,000. So this is kind of some of the biggest stick. Now, again, this is coming out of risk on, if you believe, and certainly is going into what could be deemed as slightly risk off. At the minute, though, it doesn't look like it's going to end up that way. It actually looks like it could end up in an... sorry, I thought that there was a woman talking about a Trump thing. I thought she cocked up and started talking nonsense about something else. So, again, this kind of leads us to believe that, well, what is actually going on? The fact of the matter is stock market losses are accelerating. Russell 2000 now down over 2% of the day. Regional banks are causing this. So we've had this giant reset in the crypto market, which we all know was deliberate. That was a manipulated event in the market. It wasn't like, oh, everyone just decided that we were going to just sell at this point and everyone's going to get out of there. We are now starting to see the stock market take a little bit of a hit. And you can see that here, the S&P 500 closing nearly 1% down. The NASDAQ nearly 2%. Again, look at this wick down. This is today, FYI, by the way, on the S&P 500 is the second biggest wick we've had literally this entire run up in a 12-hour candle. Think about that. This is the first one, which is obviously Friday, which will go down in history as like one an absolute shit show. But this is like big, 1.42%. We've not had another 12-hour candle like that since way back when, since you get back into April sort of time. So what does that mean? Okay, what does it mean? 2-bit tellers. Well, should I buy or should I sell? I don't know. I mean, the honest answer is, who the fuck knows at this moment in time? But what I think is important to reference is, although we are nervous and although BTC has broke through some key supports, we can kind of see why, right? We can kind of see why. So what am I doing right now? I'm kind of not doing anything right now, which I know isn't a great solution. And I know that's probably not what people want to hear. But if I double down on the fact that I think this is all a big game, and in fact, I want to just show you something. And I think as influencers go, I actually quite like this individual. And I do watch some of his stuff, albeit it's hard to stick to it because it's very technical. But actually, when you start to get into it, I actually do kind of think he is kind of good at what he talks about. So this is what he put out earlier, which got me thinking. So I don't know if you guys watch Virtual Bacon, but I kind of like his stuff, right? He says this, his play is simple. Run up gold, make it look unstoppable. Okay, make it look unstoppable. Well, it kind of feels like it is right now. It looks, I mean, this is like a big old candle, isn't it? Get every retail investor chasing the shiny rock, then move it onto real asymmetric trade left Bitcoin. BTC isn't dead. It's been suppressed on purpose. They want you to sell. They want you chasing gold and stocks. Just remember, they accumulate in silence and they rotate in chaos. And that got me more, again, thinking about, okay, well, what is the big money doing, right? What is the big money doing? So bear in mind, you could argue today is probably a moment in time where we might be thinking, maybe I should be getting out of this market. Maybe we are cooked. Maybe it's over. Maybe we missed the top of the bull market cycle. But then you look at what's happening here. You look at what's happening in leverage. And as much as you could look at it and say, oh, can $500 million have got wiped out for leverage again? You're like, where's $500 million coming from to wipe out of leverage? So, sorry, just so I was clear, by the way. Today, BlackRock sold 90 Bitcoin. That's it. All right, I'm going to lose any sleep over that. Fidelity bought 600. ARK 21, 256. We will see an inflow day, I believe, on BTC. Even though we've had pretty drastic moves. We actually have only ever seen 4 days moving out over the course of the last week, of which one of those we saw $100 million coming in. So when you then look at liquidations, you go, well, where is $750,000 coming from to trade these markets, given the fact we wiped out nearly $2 billion the other day? Now, I don't want to come and host with you guys. Get the hell away from me. So that kind of leads me to believe that, well, I don't want to cock it up. And I think that's a fair statement, by the way. No one wants to cock it up. The only way you cock it up, by the way, is by A, not hitting the like button, and B, definitely not tapping the screen. That's the only way you lock it. But right now, the desire to stick to investing is strong. That's why we're seeing gold go crazy. That's why we're seeing, leverage kind of being picked up an interesting source. So it doesn't feel great. I think it's fair to say, what will be the next thing to keep an eye out for? And I guess what is the kind of next call that you want to be like making a look at? Well, if you think about, look, we've been here before, haven't we? We've been here before. We are at a key level. And I guess if you were to look at it, this is kind of where we sort of position ourselves, which again is probably probably a similar level we are now, which is here. So this is going to be roughly where we saw this resistance line flip to support and become pretty strong support, and actually became the support for the big move up higher. Okay, we got that point here. We also came down here and retested this before when we came off the first blow off top, and then we came off the second one here and did that. Now we're at a critical level here, again, doing exactly the same. So here's the risk versus reward ratio that I think you need to work through in any of these scenarios. Do you think this is just going to keep coming down, given everything that we've just talked about and thought and worked through? Maybe it is. Well, if it is, then maybe we should be in stablecoin, or maybe we should get the hell out of there. If we don't think that, it may be a little bit more pain. I think I'm going to wait and see what happens after the weekend. That's my opinion. And I think the weekend will tell me what the sentiment is in the market. That's my view. And I think that's probably sensible. I'm hedging my bets. I'm fortunate, as I'm sure many of you guys are as well, that we were buying cryptocurrency super cheap. Okay. So actually we should be relatively okay in terms of our portfolios. But I think I'll see what the weekend does. Also, right now, you can see here, we are actually holding the 200 EMA, which is another good important point. So at the minute, there is some key things that I want to see. Now, if we were to break this down, come and retest this low range here that we got from the wick down, then yeah, it's probably time to put something into stablecoin. Just my opinion. I am not telling you guys what to do. This is just where I'm at right now. And loads of people today have been talking about, well, October is going to flip bearish. It's going to turn out to be the most bearish October in the world. It's never been bearish before, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we've all heard it. We've all heard it loads, actually. The one thing I know about these cryptocurrency markets, the one things I know, generally speaking, about investing is that whenever you want something to go in one way, it generally comes back and bites you in the arse. And that, I think, is exactly what's going to happen with October. Now, this could be delusion. I might be delusional. Who's he bringing up to? Oh, Bobby Kennedy. I can't stand listening to him because he's just hard to listen to. But the point here is that I, for one, believe that well, you have two options to believe. If you think the market's just over and retail have decided they're going to get out and institutions have gone, okay, I'm done buying Bitcoin and we're going to sell, and they're going to hold for about 3 weeks, then you know what? It's probably the worst bull market in history. Okay, fine. Let's move on. If not, and you align to something doesn't feel right narrative. Now, I'm not spreading conspiracy, not going super psycho weird on everything, but if you get to the summary of saying something doesn't feel right, I think you would be silly to start dumping your entire cryptocurrency portfolio. That's not to say that it can't go down. And I know a couple of you DM me and going, "Tubit, should I be buying or selling?" I don't know. You got to make your own decisions up here. I'll only ever tell you what I'm doing. That doesn't mean that you should be following what I'm doing as well. Now, if you were to say, well, how does this reverse while people continue to keep buying gold? What are we looking for? Like, what's the pivot point? Like, how long do you want me to hold in this market when everything's going to business zero and I've got no money left? Well, the reality is that we've got a couple of things to come, and it's not going to be painful. It's not going to be painless. We know that we've got potential easing of quantitative tightening coming at the end of this month. I talked a little bit in my XRP video update, if you haven't seen it, by the way, about the fact that we were looking to play a bear trap. Now, again, I'm not saying I'm a super technical geek that sort of works through, but at the same time, when you look at some of the market structure, it is kind of interesting how certain things are playing out. If you think of, well, in terms of gold, it is and has just become a $30 trillion market cap as well, which is kind of interesting to think about that. So is this a modern day era for gold? And is this going to signal a rotation eventually into the crypto markets? Well, how can we once again look and see what's going on? Look at the weekly candles on gold, by the way. It's absolutely ridiculous. If we were to take, let's go back and look at the 2021 bull market cycle, which is here. And we got exactly the same sort of thing. So we see this big run up into July, gold peaking around the, around the 27th of July, 2020. And then we sort of maintain peaking yet again in March of 2022. Now, who remembers what happens between this? Who remembers what happened to this? By the way, this is like, 2020 is COVID and 2022 was like lunar and come on, someone help me out. Lunar and like, God, what was it? FTX. Jesus Christ. This here, between this peak here, which is kind of, July 2020, and this peak here, which is kind of March 2022, if you look at this in terms of Bitcoin, what do you get? Well, the answer is March 2020 is here. Okay, so March 2020 is here, look. And then you get March 22 is here. Okay, so pretty much the sort of arse end of this. So while gold did its first spike here and its last spike here, you got the Bitcoin bull market cycle within that period of time. So, and I don't know if you guys want to see this on the way, by the way, TikTok, I don't know if you bother, but so again, just for reference, if you look at gold, the 2021 peaks for gold, by the way, July 2020, and the peak there, March 22. You look at that in terms of Bitcoin, and you get March 2020 is the bottom or the start of the run-up on BTC. You could argue that people were accumulating gold here. You've got a nice little run-up on gold, then boom, off we went. And here was the dump on the back of it. And within that, we obviously got the bull market cycle. So, again, this could start to play out exactly as Virtual Bacon just said, that they're going to pump gold. People are going to freak out. They're going to go into gold. We know banks are custodying gold. We know that USDT, Tether's been accumulating gold. Circle's been accumulating gold. Everyone and their nan has been accumulating gold like crazy people. What, just because? Oh, I thought I had my cup of tea left. So, again, this is just going to be important to how I think this market's going to play out, and more importantly, where I think this is going to go. There are two possible scenarios that I think play out, and one is bearish and one is bullish. We need some time to see how it plays out, which if you don't have time, then you're going to have to just make a decision and see what happens. But that's what I think is going to happen. Tinfoil hat time, calamari, you know it is. What's going on, Fairground? Matty says, Sean, nothing happens besides people. What? I long gold every Monday for 4 weeks. And I'm smiling. Moe, nice. I love it. Need to sell my body just so I can DCA skin. Moe, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. I'm holding fun for dear life. Hello, Mike. What's going on, Aiden? Good to see you, man. Bits Plays, keeping it real and down there as well. I am fortunate, unfortunately. Yeah, I know exactly that. I mean, I thought that, by the way, because I actually opened a short on the market and the market pumped and I was like, yep, that's how you push the markets. But unfortunately, it actually turned out to play. Why is crypto so poor? Loads of macro stuff that is causing lots of risk and uncertainty in the markets. So that's my opinion. Do you make a call from TG or somewhere? We have a premium Discord that we do calls in there. We do new token announcements, etc., etc., etc. If we've got stuff, you're not just going to get a random call like, oh, today the market's going to be shit. But again, we do like a Sunday report. We do sort of TA in terms of what we see in the charts. You can get it by subscribing here on TikTok or by becoming a channel member on YouTube as well. And like I said yesterday, if you are here on TikTok and you haven't renewed your subscription, make sure you do it. Otherwise, you get yeeted out of the Discord. So I know someone got yeeted earlier, but make sure you're all over that. Sean Goffey's listening to. Oh yeah, so I've got the. It's all Sean. It's all about drug prices. That's why. But that's why I've got my headphones on. So I am listening to it. I can bring it up if you want, but he's just doing a Q&A now. But yeah, the minute he's done a big announcement on drug prices. So nothing really for yeah, nothing else. Hello, mate. Would you be buying at this point? I haven't bought at this point. Again, like I said at the very start of the stream, I kind of want to see what happens in the market because it could play out that, look, let's just call a spade here, by the way. This could play out and be the part where the market just folds. And I mean, if you get a banking collapse, you get the Fed don't cut rates. I mean, we're literally done. So probably not for as long as I think before, but yeah, we'll certainly start to see probably some further push downs in the market. What I don't understand though, and I guess what you need to probably just work through is ask yourself the question, why are people dumping Bitcoin? And it's not institutions that are dumping it. So you got to be like, okay, why and who is dumping Bitcoin? Beef says it's not the worst crypto cycle for the most crypto-friendly administration in crypto history. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. People sell gold and buy crypto like normal. Paul, I absolutely think that is what is going to happen. September rate cut, no pump. October rate cut coming. There's no way we don't get a pump without an ETFs coming. Well, the October rate cut could even be more interesting because of the expectation of quantitative easing, which could be good news, and the printer's going. That's why they're trying to, sort the balance sheet out. Yeah, too, the BTC gold catch up happens every time. Exactly. Yeah, it does. It does. I've been accumulating man for you. I know how you feel about that. Money printer went. Now we're crazy inflation. 500k for the chicken wing suit. Yeah, I mean, although the Fed are trying to claw it back, so it is worth thinking about that. CJ this is always bullish. Do you think everything is lined up or is it just for fun? I mean, look, you can make anything fit a narrative if you want it. All I go to is, does any of it make sense? And if it does, then fine. If it doesn't, then you're like, okay, I need to rethink this. Yeah, typical Trump talk all about everything he's doing, but nothing about that. Yeah, he's not going to talk about crypto. I thought maybe he discusses the bank stuff, but I don't think he will because that's not a good look at the minute, is it? He's going to talk about other stuff. Gaza, Hamas, drug prices. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, we might get regional banks fold and I'm going to have to bail them out. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Price for Lauren Babb not very well at the moment. Oh man, hope she's okay. Hope it's not like super serious. But yeah, tell her we're all thinking of her. Playground. The everything bubble crash is the next internet boom and bust. I mean, maybe. Okay. Let's talk a little bit then about what else is going on. We obviously talk about gold. We've done that. We've talked a little bit about that, which is worthwhile. We've done that one as well. And we've done that one. Right. Here is some other... Oh, let me press that. Here is some other kind of debate, I guess, that's probably worthwhile having right now. That... as you guys have rightly just pointed out in the chat, that, yeah, Bitcoin is lagging behind. It's lagging behind two key fundamentals, which is M2, which is global liquidity. Not that it's the craziest indicator in the world. And gold. The divergence never lasts. Liquidity always finds the way. And the reality is that, as Curtis said, with the most crypto-friendly, or was it? I can't remember who it was. Who said that? Was it? Beebs. Sorry, it was you, Beebs. With the most crypto-friendly administration, that you'd argue, well, the reality is that, yeah, it should catch up. What's interesting is everything's going to gold right now. Now, what would be interesting, and you will never get this data, but I'd be very curious to see it, is countries like China, who we know they're printing money, are they buying gold? Is this part of this rare mineral deal thing that they're all trying to do? Are they just like, okay, we need to stack fucking gold? So again, we'll see. But again, the 4-year cycle dictated the end of the bull market. If we think this goes to 2025, 2026, then the reality is that we could just see Bitcoin catch up. And it always does, and it always has. Again, this is where you kind of play out the narrative. Is it going to be the same as always, or is it going to be different? That's the question we've got to ask ourselves. What's also interesting is some data coming out of Glassnode that I thought I'd just share really quickly in terms of, I guess, what is happening, and I guess why we should be still a little bit more optimistic in the market, albeit it feels hard to be optimistic at the minute. We're also seeing slows down in ETF inflows. We're seeing slows in volatility spiking. We're actually seeing markets are reset to a degree. Institutions are dipping their toes slowly in the market. You got to understand, some of these people have no idea what's going. If you're an institutional investor, you bought an ETF through BlackRock, and it's the first ever time you've bought Bitcoin because you could. You don't know what a fucking 30% correction looks like. Dave, what's going on, buddy? And actually, we see this. We also see funding rates that are sitting reasonably well. We're not seeing anything of over leverage. That means people aren't deciding to come way back in, jumping into FUD. Options are increasing. These are people taking contracts out, whether it be short or long in terms of the market, which I thought was worthwhile. And again, you can see options volume is starting to spike as well. So we are actually seeing people tentatively come back into the market. That's why you end up seeing these liquidation events that we've seen. The reality is that where are we going to close is the key bit, though. Shabs is usually a big dip before it sends. Exactly. And I said this in my Bitcoin video, that we don't ever finish bull markets in extreme fear. We just don't. Like, this is why this bull market would be super, super weird. So yeah, so again, we have to wait and see what in terms of close. We still hold a couple of key measures. We are dumping a little bit, 107,900 right now. I don't want to see a lose that 178. We'll see where that one goes through. We talked about that. Market turbulence we've talked about. We don't need to look at that. Ripple are going pretty bullish, by the way. What's interesting, by the way, is XRP content is really suppressed at the minute. Really suppressed, actually. But anyway, Ripple bought G Treasury deal. Pretty interesting. Multi-trillion-dollar treasury company. Ask yourself why that is. We also saw today the House bill passing for Florida. They are now looking to put their first strategic Bitcoin reserve bill in. House Bill 183 will allow Florida to invest 10% of public funds into Bitcoin. This, again, makes no sense at all, given what we've been talking about. So, yeah, it's a catch-22 at the minute. I have $400. How can I trade, please? I would take your $400, hold on to it, and I would go to get a fake trading account, and I'd go and trade and see what you think. If you are asking what you want to do, then that means you shouldn't be trading. And that might not be not what you want to hear, but it's probably the truth. Any chance if the Fed doesn't cut rates this month, could it go even lower? I mean, there is a chance the Fed doesn't cut rates. I think it's extremely unlikely, but there is a chance that they won't cut rates. Now, the only reason I believe they won't cut rates is data restrictiveness. All right? Data restrictiveness, which we'll have to see. So you currently have the expectation of a rate cut. Now, 3% potentially given a double rate cut. That's kind of interesting. And then you walk through a potential 16%. If you remember, 3 months ago, I said, watch out for a double cut in December. This is now starting to build like it could end up being a double cut in December. Pretty interesting. But yeah, I think it's unlikely that they don't cut, but it's not out of the realms of possibility. Just my opinion. Paul says it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I hope so. What's happening with gold right now is how the bull market's finished. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I know what a 30% correction is. My mate's got a lazy eye. Dear me. The miners are doing great in the last 6 months. Nice. What about the fact that BTC usually dumps 30 to 38% before a huge pump? Yeah, I mean, look, that's true. The difference being is, though, don't forget, those dumps were retail driven. This isn't retail. So you kind of can't count this 30% dump. This isn't a traditional dump in the market. This was a manufactured that I still think Binance and shit could be in trouble. XRP predictions on Monday. I don't know, 265. I said that. Any chance the Fed can cut? Still staking World W Financial. I'm not staking it. I'm still holding it. I mean, again, though, you look at that, it's down 3.9%. It's at 1,300. Okay, that's fine. Some of the other ones have been like obliterated. I mean, Aethia got crushed. Fetch AI is really looking bad. This looks bad. Bad. Could end up being an absolute shit show of Fetch AI. But hey, we will see. Yeah, BTC is dumping, unfortunately, right now. Yeah, BTC is still dropping yet. Could be cut lower? I mean, maybe. I think it's unlikely, but maybe. Are XRP doomed to fail? I don't think it's doomed to fail. And if you bought it at 30 cents, you're actually up at the minute. But yeah, give up a crypto and take up taxidermy. That's true. That's true. I actually think there's a lot going on with XRP. I just think people are missing it. And I think XRP is going to be another one that all of a sudden will just be integrated into so many elements of the financial markets that everyone's going to be like, oh, okay. So my view again, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm just holding on. I mean, look at this. BTC is now down, what, 0.3% in about the last 15 minutes? Like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be going into anything. Look at it. We've got the 15-minute chart here. Like, BTC is dumping right now. So, you know, you just gotta be sensible right now. Just gonna be sensible right now. XRP will prevail. Yeah, I hope so. Opinion on ETH? I'm pretty bullish on ETH. And again, ETH is holding a key level, although it has just broken down underneath that level. So. Yeah, this is all pharmaceuticals. There's nothing going to be announced about cryptocurrency if anyone was thinking about it, or the banks, by the way. So, but yeah, I do kind of think ETH is okay. You just need to see something. You just need to see something, I think is probably where we are. Do you think bull run is over? Not quite. Not quite. I think we are certainly. I mean, this is the thing as well, isn't it? Because you don't want to get into this world of being that kind of crazy person that's like, okay, well, I just held till fucking zero. Like, you've got to have a thought in your head as to where you will eventually kind of do it. But again, a lot of factors are playing into it. This whole banking thing seems very odd to me today, that all of a sudden it comes out and it's like the banks are screwed. What price would you move to stable Subit on BTC? I mean, I said I was nervous at 110. And I'm still holding. So, yeah, I don't know. See what the close is today. Maybe if we close below 107,800, maybe I would take a little bit off the table. Maybe. Yeah. Matt says, can you talk about ETH? I mean, I can talk about ETH. There's not a lot going on with ETH, though. Again, it's pretty boring. It is trading within the range right now. Again, we just broke down below this kind of support level. It had 3872. Again, you've got to kind of understand it from the close. That's where I'm at right now. And I think if we get there, where we see where the closes are, I think it's probably going to give us an indication. My target 140k Bitcoin, I'm DCing out. That's not a bad shout. Anyway, go hard, massive opportunities. Tim's all about it. I'm making a coffee and getting ready to buy more crypto. Hunter's all in. Markets work both ways, up and down. Sometimes closing loss isn't a bad thing. That's true. That's true. Again, you've got to be confident and comfortable as to why you're doing it. And look, some people are going to get it right. We might get it wrong. And I think it's important to understand here that we could all be sat here going, well, I think gold's going to be the rally, and I think this is going to change, and that's going to change, and da da da. And we might be sat here in a month's time going, me, why don't we sell at 107? Like, we're such noobs. Still doesn't feel right though. And I had this same feeling when we ran up, where I was like, this doesn't make any sense though. It doesn't make any sense. Institutions are buying, BlackRock's not dumping billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. My view was always going to be the bear market would come after a peak, and then all of a sudden institutions decided to liquidate billions of dollars worth of assets. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. So it's like, well, who the fuck is selling then? Well, we can kind of answer that question as well. If we look at, oops. I got in like July, August, so I'm pretty tired right now. Yeah, I imagine, Calamari. I imagine you are, bro. Right. So if you were to look here, to give you an idea of short-term sellers. Do you guys want to see this on TikTok? How far do you think the crypto is going down, Mike? I mean, it's I can't understand why we're at this level. I've got to be honest. I've got to be honest. So I'm hoping we don't. I'm hoping we don't go any further. Okay, you guys want to see this? So this is the short-term holder, basically output profit ratio. So what is it telling us? It basically means that how much of people that got Bitcoin specifically, so you can see here it's a Bitcoin one, how much they are selling it. So these are people that have held Bitcoin for less than 155 days. All right. We'll look at the long-term holders in a minute, and basically then tracking what they're doing. Now, obviously you see this like rally at the start of October where we got this massive, you know, the kind of big run up to a new all-time high. So you can see here that we were dumping into, or the short-term sellers were rallying up in terms of price. And then actually we were seeing the number of people buying aggressively. So these are kind of people FOMOing into the market, right? These are people like basically going, oh my fucking God, I need to get involved in Bitcoin pretty quickly, which is another reason why I think we see this kind of massive dump on the backside of it, because the minute then price pushes down. So take, for example, here, look, the 3rd of October, 2025, perfectly is, guess what? The run up to the new all-time high, albeit it was a couple of days later on the 6th, but these were kind of where max buying was going on. Everyone's going, oh, fucking hell, I need to try and get in. Obviously, this was the big wick here that we came in. But then you sort of see these selling off. Now, I can try and get the chart in a minute, but these are where people are dumping off. If you then compare that to long-term holders in the same particular time scale, then you see something very, 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 very different. And actually, you see less aggressiveness where Bitcoin was rallying to all-time highs, and then you see the post-all-time high. So again, the biggest profit on long-term holder ratio was obviously on the all-time high. And then we've seen a little bit of selling off, but not quite as aggressive as what we've seen in short-term holders. So again, you could argue and say, well, people with big wallets and people with big bags are holding their cryptocurrency. They're still holding on. So, you know, that kind of aligns to some of this stuff right now. Again, we will see. I think, yeah, I think it definitely isn't fun though right now. That's my opinion. What's going on, Vern? I don't see how this can be the end of the bull run when pretty much the only two all-time highs are a coin and a... Yeah, well, that would mean that like so many altcoins didn't even make it to an all-time high, which doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense if you ask me. Thoughts about Aptos? I like Aptos, although I liked it way more like 18 months ago, 2 years ago. I mean, it's okay now. They're working in terms of some partnerships, integrations, etc. Yeah, I don't mind it. It's not got anything like super special on the back of it. Do me a quick favor though, by the way, just really quickly, if you are watching here on YouTube, only 33 likes on the live. This is like 80 odd people in here. So do me a quick favor, tap the like button, helps out the channel. Also, if you haven't smashed this, don't smash the screen, but you get my point. Just tap that screen. Do appreciate the likes. Massively helps out. Just lets us get up in the algorithm. Lets people know that this is a channel where, I mean, obviously if you think the content's crap, then don't do it. But it would be a massive help if you could. Thanks, Vern. You're a massive legend. Appreciate it. People talking about the bull run and it hasn't even started. James, I mean, that is an interesting... That is an interesting concept. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. That is an interesting concept. I heard that as well. Yeah, I heard that as well. So whether that's true or not, we'll see. We will see. Maybe that's for another video. 30,000 likes. Let's good. Massive heroes. So, yeah. I mean, let's hope we get some moves. Ripple IPO don't build until late 2026 earliest. Yeah, I mean, if they do one. If they do one. Are we buying or crying? I mean, technically right now, I'd say it's pretty uncomfortable. I mean, even if you just set this wick down here, I mean, what are we at now? The 15% correction, it's still not crazy. It's still not the biggest correction in the world. We've seen way bigger. Way bigger. You know, the debate is what's going to be the camel that breaks it? What's the straw that breaks the camel's back? What is it that, you know, that's going to be like, okay, shit, everything needs to sell out. And you've got a really divided community, I think. You've got some people that are definitely calling the end of the bull market. I mean, I heard somebody, I'm not going to say who it is, but you all know who it is, talking about their price target from now is $60,000. You're like, where are you getting that number from? $60,000. We're going to dump to 60K from where we are right now. I mean, what would that be as a correction? 50% 50% correction in the market. Right, okay. He's not talked anything crypto, so I don't need that on. So yeah, he talked about pharmaceuticals and stuff. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, do we get to that point? Maybe. I don't know. I think if we're 60K, like you are calling the bear market. So you're basically saying, you know, the bull market's over. It's the worst bull market in history. And somehow it was the most crypto friendly. I mean, think about it. The next bull run might not be anything like what we've got right now. Say that's true. It will be the shortest bear market in history. I mean, that's possible as well. I mean, the bear market is potentially going to be very short-lived, but yeah. Most of the FUD has no real substance, all speculation. Fundamental. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, people come in and just go, and I talk about this on the stream. People go, yeah, Bitcoin's going to 70K, and you're like, okay, why? And they just don't respond. No one really knows, but I think when you look at loads of macro stuff, you're like, kind of doesn't make sense. I think there's a lot going to be positioned on what's coming up. I think a lot of people are going to look at this whole China-US thing, and hopefully, I mean, if you think of it this way as well, you could get China and the US resolve this trade war, Ukraine and Russia stop fighting each other, you get the whole like peace in the Middle East thing that's like donezo, and you get a double rate cut and jobs data comes in pretty good. All of a sudden, everyone's going to be like, holy shit, like the market's fucking crazy. Like, let's get in. Silver thinking of ticking 55 off. Wow. Yeah, so even that, like people are going to gold and silver. People are, you know, coming out of risk assets. Pretty interesting. What price do you call a bear to? But I don't think you can call it a specific price because you end up then making bad decisions. I think you've got to call it a sentiment. That's my opinion. So again, what did 2021 going into 2022 bear market look like? What was the things that I was looking at? And this is why I think it feels very different. I remember thinking to myself, shit, I should have been in stablecoin way longer than I am doing. But what was the signals that we missed? Like, what was the reason why I didn't go into stablecoin? What was the reason that drove me to a different narrative? And it was all DeFi markets. It was all trading. You know, it was all, this doesn't feel like that. It just feels different. Maybe, look, maybe that's something we analyze. Maybe that's something for Wednesday, Vern. Stick it on the list of what did 2021 feel like when the bull market ended? How did we know? What was the things that we were looking at? Can you look at the Asia pre-markets? Yes. I mean, Asia was all right last night, by the way. So was the UK markets. In fact, everyone was all right. Just the fact that banks are going to collapse. With all the money that was liquidated on Friday, unfortunately, they won't return. However, I'm still bullish. Yeah, I mean, look at this. The Dow looks like it's going to be awful. The S&P 500, awful. NASDAQ, awful. Russell, awful. The Nikkei, Hong Kong Stock Exchange, looks okay. Europe, looks fine. This whole banking thing is what they don't like, which we probably need to go into in a little bit more detail. Gold and silver look like they're just going to keep absolutely printing, by the way, which is kind of crazy as well. But maybe that's the play. Maybe that's the play. Maybe this is maybe it's getting the money into gold and then, you know, it rotates into crypto, into Bitcoin. Maybe that's the thing. Do bull runs happen when you least expect it? Well, you got to understand, and we've been in a bull run probably from 2022, really. The bottom bull runs, the craziness of a bull run, I think, is probably what you're relating to, which, you know, institutional driven bull runs probably not the same as retail, but you've got a world where you will genuinely think that you are the smartest person on the planet. You're like, holy, this is brilliant. Like, I just fucking buy whatever I want and it goes up and blah, 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 blah. Basically how you fell on this last move. So from the back end of September to the top of, you know, it was like every day we were printing. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it's super crazy. Like bull market's going to go into fucking moon. Yeah. Opinion on the graph. Do you mean the actual token? Toshi. Yeah, I still think people are talking about Toshi, actually. Yeah. Can you look at we did pre-markets. Yeah, that's fine. Well, I remember the bear market at the end of 21 slowly just crept down. Yeah, I mean, well, it kind of did, and it kind of didn't at the same time. If you look at, it's always worthwhile looking on the weekly channels. We got like a big old shit show on the 2021. So this is the 2021 bull market cycle here, look. So this was the first peak that came in. We got some sort of chop going sideways, followed by then a boom on down on the 20. So what happened on May the 10th and May the 17th? These were two big wicks down in 2021. Anyone know what happened? Then we got this, and then boom, we always went up, which again, you could align to what we got. And we need to see what this is. What happened on May 10th, 2021? Anyone know? I'm going to find out. In the markets, something must have happened. Most YouTubers have flipped bearish, meaning retail flips more bearish. The pump will be epic. The faster the pump, the less people have to talk. Well, I mean, that's true as well. By the way, is that what it was, Curtis? Yeah? Are you sure? Well, we dumped 10th of May. Was it Luna? So, what happened on that? Dow Jones Industrial Average hit a record high. The Nasdaq, tech stocks were under pressure. S&P was more balanced. Copper price, US dollar weakened, a 10-week low. The pound rallied, blah, 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 blah. Monetary policy. The market environment 10th of May was characterized by a rotation from high-flying tech and growth into more cyclical commodity and energy and value sectors. Inflation concerns and rising commodity prices drew investors' focus. But significant strength. Okay, fine. So there wasn't anything. Inflation and yield concerns were increasing. So that's probably something to keep an eye out for. Is the yield curve? What is the yield curve doing now? These aren't increasing at all. I mean, we were and have been pretty bullish. So May. Yeah, so you got a rally in treasury yields. Look, so there's just clearly a rotation of capital, wasn't it? Really, nothing kind of like super crazy came out of the woodwork that I can see in May 21. So, again, probably aligns to what we've been talking about. Probably sort of feels the same sort of thing, really, to be honest. Elon mentioned something about not using BTC. Is that what it was? 20,000 likes. Let's get it. Double top, then bull market. Yeah, maybe. From what I remember, the bear market at the end of 21 slowly just crept up. I think I said that, didn't I? 2022, Terra Luna and FTX. Yeah, they were March, I believe. They were March. BTC bull market finished around now, but did total threes top, not reach all-time high till Jan 22. Yeah. Jasmine under 1 cent. Is it actually under 1 cent now? Oh my God, it is, yeah. Wow. Altcoins are absolute. I mean, Pepe is at like 7 or something. Yeah, 681 on Pepe. Like, what? What? Maybe this is the play, you see. Maybe this is it. Maybe we're going to get all... Don't forget, here's the other thing as well. You've got loads of potential ETFs that are going to launch. We just need to get this government market back up. Although I did see something saying that the government was going to open up by next Friday. Like, come what may, it was just opening up by next Friday. So, I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. 110 people right now with us here on YouTube. So shout out to everybody tuning in. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you are bullish on the market and you want to stay up to date with everything that's going on. If you've got something you want to talk about, coin that's on your mind, etc., 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 let me know and we'll sort of bring it up. We can have a quick chat about it. Equally, if you're just joining, don't forget, I do go live at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK time every single day, except Saturdays, talking about the crypto market on YouTube, as well as we're live on TikTok as well. So shout out to everybody that's following. Shout out to everyone's tuning in. I appreciate you guys for sure. Graph token, GRAPH. Why is that not coming up? Grap. The hell is Grap? I thought Grap. I thought is it like GPH something? No. Why is it not coming up? I thought Graph token was a thing. Let me have to look at it on CoinMarketCap. The market makes you sell and you'll wake up the next day and you buy back twice the price. That's the thing. That's the game. That is the game. I think we can safely say this run is done and dusted. Well, like I always say, someone will be right and someone will be wrong. Let's hope you're on the wrong side and we're on the right side. That's all I can say. Is the market up or down today? It's very much down, unfortunately. Very much down. Right. Graph. Oh, there it is, the graph. Yeah, we did look at this the other night. Down 3.5%. Everything's going to be down at the minute. This is the thing. This isn't about trying to find some random super coin that's going out there. This is about trying to find where the best place to either enter the market or not is. I think that's probably where we get to. And yeah, we will sort of see how that plays is. Can you just hold for the next bull market? I mean, you can hold. I mean, if you're Bitcoin, you're probably going to be fine. Ethereum, if you're in top tier coins, then yeah. I mean, if you're in Arscrack Inu, that's probably not really great. But yeah, if you've got Bitcoin, like, I mean, the wallets I have for my kids that's got like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Sui, like all of those, I ain't going to sell that. I mean, I don't even count it as part of my portfolio. It's theirs. So that'll just be in a wallet or whatever. So you can technically hold it. It doesn't make any sense to try and hold it. If I'm honest, but we'll see. Bullish for November. I mean, November, generally speaking, is a good month. What'll be weird is if October ends up being bearish. But like I said yesterday, the 15th of October, generally speaking, from now is where we generally see a good move in the markets. And actually, history tells us, even if you went back to, let's go back to 2021 and go back to October 2021, because this is going to give us October 21. Let's go back. Yeah, let's go back to October 21, because that's going to be a bull market cycle and give us a bit of an indication as to what's going on. So if we go back all the way here, look, here's 2021. Where was October? October was here, look. Okay, cool. Okay, you guys can see this as well, TikTok. So here is the start of October. I'm going to do a little graph around it because it'll just be easier to see. There, look. So that is the 1st of October until the very end, which was there. That was October. So that was October 2021. And then you've got, you know, November, which obviously would start from... this is obviously going to be a little bit different because I want to just color it a different color. Here, look. There we go. So then we go from... November is there. Okay. So I might even keep these on for now. So this is October, just because it makes it easier, doesn't it? And this is November. So again, what you can see here is that these are on the daily candles. So the early part of October was pretty good. We then saw, consolidation different to what we're seeing now, though, because don't forget now we are actually seeing a push down in the market as opposed to us not. So this is kind of, this is like now. This here is yesterday, basically. And then we rallied up, and then we actually saw it sort of quiet through the end with another rally at the end of November. Now, again, I'm not saying that we're going to repeat exactly this, but you can sort of see how October and November are sort of playing out. So, you know, does that make a difference? I don't know if it does or not. What does it look like? I guess the question would be, what does it look like not in a bull market? So what does 2023 look like? And 2024 looks like is down here somewhere. It's August, September. So yeah, so October in 2024 is here, look. So if we go from there. So that's October 2024. So what you can see here is, this is where it gets probably a little bit interesting, is that you generally see it pretty flat until we got to the 14th, which is literally a couple of days ago. Then we got the move up, then consolidates, then moves, then into November, which obviously November would run to like here, there. I know that's a really bad drawing. So actually what you can see there last year is November ended up pretty bullish. Just saying. So, you know, this could end up playing out, I guess, kind of all right. I want to put the November, let's put the November box in there as well. So November, November 28th, 29th, 30th. And then let's color this one red. Although we probably should put it green, actually, shouldn't we? There we go. And that is November. So October, November. So you can see there that definitely interesting how it sort of played out. And then I guess where we are right now in terms of October. So we kind of got this move. Really, I mean, we got the move up in the early part. This is the difference. But then when you allow yourself to talk about it, this is a manipulated event. This is like a dumperino that we weren't going to expect. Look at the BTC rainbow chart. Yeah, I never liked the BTC rainbow chart. I'm just going to call it as it is. I think it's a bit of nonsense. I know we've talked about it before here on the channel as well, but yeah, it's always a bit like weird. You should go through 23 because the Trump pump affected it. Okay, we can do that. So yeah, I mean, the rainbow chart is, you know, I mean, it's not super crazy, is it? But yeah, if you don't look at your wallet, you are really down. I mean, that's true. Just don't look at it. Auto says, I think it's crashing. I mean, yeah, crashing feels like a bit of an extreme sentiment, but it could be a slow, painful Bitcoin rug, should we say. Never been somewhat accurate, though. I mean, that's true. I mean, look, it's still in a place. Where does it go? For bottoms of bear markets, 23 moves up. Where does 2021 into 20? Yeah, so 2020, before we moved up into the big push up in the bull market, you know, I mean, we technically haven't seen this kind of big rally up, this kind of euphoric stage, albeit there is an argument to say that it won't be as crazy as it used to be. 120 odd people here, by the way, on YouTube. Thanks so much, everybody. Just give us a quick thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Let's do 2023 then, just to get us an idea of what that looks like. So, yeah, I guess November 24 was the Trump effect. So let's do 2023. So 2023 is here. Look, this might give us a bit more of a balanced view. So let's do October, which is here. There, 20 October. There. And then we can do November. It should be to there. Okay. So that gives us, let me just put that there. There. So that gives us 2023. So this will be minus, I guess this is minus the Trump effect. So what do we get when you look at October? We got generally a move up. If you think about, we came in here, the low at 26,900. We rallied up to 28,200. So what does that look like in terms of a gain? So we did nearly 5%, followed then by a correction of 6% to none other than, I mean, this is today. This tiny little, holding the 200 move. I mean, this is where you could start to really, you start to put yourself into a, like, you start to put yourself into a really weird place. Because you could argue here right now, look, I'm going to have to sort this out though, because that's going to annoy me. That's there. There we go, perfect. So you could argue that this setup feels very similar to what we've got now. So you're below the 200 EMA, albeit this is way close, which means the market was way less volatile than we are right now. But so we're under the 200 EMA, and then a boom, we did, big spikes up for the rest of October, and then we continued that rally up into November. Pretty interesting. Where do we move to if we move to where we are right now? Well, right now we are literally holding the 200 EMA. So if I delete these and delete that, let's put this on now. So let's do October, because we can do October. We can see where this is going to play out right now. So October started here. Oops. There. So October is going to run to there. So yeah, so slightly different, but I guess we came in and we got a 10% move, which is, slightly more than what we expect. And then the difference though, that we've had a 15% down. I guess the difference, 4%, that's what you got back in 2023. What the hell? It's all coming together. It's all starting to turn into a scam. We all got played. Quick, go buy more Bitcoin. I'm only kidding. Don't go buy more Bitcoin. Not yet anyway. Got to wait a little bit. And then let's put this one on there just so we've got November's chart as well. Yeah. I'm going to put it green because I think it's going to be green, baby. There we go. You can check the gold chart. Gold isn't pumping, cash is dying. Oh, maybe October, November, December isn't dead. Stop. Oh my God, look how many comments there are. Jesus. Do I like Sui? Yeah, I like Sui. Yeah, I actually own some Sui. Sorry, I missed loads of these comments. Shout out, by the way, to everybody that's tuning in on TikTok. We're back over 100 people in the stream, so I appreciate you guys. I'm down 25K, 55% of my portfolio. I know how you feel, although I'm not down, technically not down 25K. Buy the dip, what's the dip? Yes, that meme, isn't it? Buy the dip, with what? Price you bought your Sui, still stacking. I bought it at 272, I think it was. So it's I'm underwater on my Sui, but it wasn't a big bag. But yeah, 272 I bought. I should have bought it a little bit earlier, but sorry, I've like caught my thumbnail and it's like ripped off the skin of my thumb. Sunday says, "Sir, please, is the bull run over?" A, you don't need to call me sir. Don't worry about it. And B, I don't think so. I don't think so. The debate though is the pain that we're going through right now. I've been documenting the gold price all night. Bella, nice. We're going to get rich while family B friends go homeless and eat bugs for not listening and buying 50 cents. I mean, that's true, RPM. That's true. Bitcoin follow gold. Yeah, let's hope so. See the DXY 3-month chart. Death spiral. Is that true? Oh, the DXY. Yeah, the DXY is falling to pieces. Yeah, this is the gold chart's going to be the one that I think is going to be something worth keeping an eye out for sure. Any hope for alt soon? I mean, you probably don't want to hear this, but I don't know if it's, define your timeline for soon. That'd be what I would say. Do I think alts are going to rally by the end of October? Probably not. Do I think that we still should get an alt season move? Yeah, I hope so. Hope so. We're all underwater deep. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not fun right now. But again, if you look at history and you went back to 2021's bull market cycle, you would have had people saying exactly the same thing. Now, I'm not saying blindly we should just be following everything, but it is worth thinking that, is there more upside to come? Is the market really going to be over? Is 125K the highest we can get with $165 billion of buying pressure that's coming this year? 125K. Is that as high as we ever get? I hope not. You think December is going to be the month of pump? I mean, I thought October was going to be good, but yeah, we'll have to see. How is your group portfolio doing? Terrible. Like, really terrible. like probably should pack it up and sack it off. Yeah, I actually haven't looked, in fairness. I actually haven't looked, but yeah, pretty shit, if I'm honest. Oh, God, that's disgusting. I don't want to look at that anymore. I'm on a Casper long at 2 cents from the crash. Not sure if I can cash it or stick it, take profit at 5. I don't know what Casper's at right now, to be honest. Yeah. It won't be cheaper in 2 years. I mean, that's true. How did you all decide on which things to jump? We jump on a call. We have a call every week. It was meant to be this glorious, like, bringing the great minds of some people together and be like, okay, it's fine. The trouble is, when we got into it at like a decent level, which actually felt like it was going to be a good level. Then the market dipped and we put a little bit more in. It is what it is. I mean, the big one that's hurt us is Fetch AI. Like, that should have been a way better project. AI, and it's absolutely pummeled us in terms of the portfolio. But at the same time, you know, is my personal portfolio performing better? Probably not. Given everything that's happened, you're like, well, it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. Feeling like hibernating right now, Ed, yeah, I know the feeling, but I know the feeling. All we can do, and what I would say, and this is me being genuinely honest, is that you're in a community now. If you're part of this channel on TikTok, you're part of the channel on YouTube, you're in the Discord. Bear in mind, we have a free Discord, which you can join. Just if you want to get access to our bot and the trade signals and the coins and all the rest of it, you got to buy the premium, which is obviously subscribing here on TikTok, which again, no other people do, or it's like $8. I mean, it's nothing. Then you are in a community, which is good. That means your opinions matter. That means your thoughts can be walked through and talked through. The Discord's not weird. Get in there. Hey, I'm thinking of doing this. What's people's opinions of that? That's why it's important that we are in the place that we are, because this will allow us to come to a consensus decision that says, is the market over or not? Don't rely on just me to go, right, today, everybody, I dumped my bags, right? Because that's just not how it's going to work. I think you've got to be in a good consensus to understand it. But yeah, Trump coin on sale right now. Making USD peg trash coin before a gold peg coin was foolish. Yeah, I want RLXAU, but Ripple are dumb. I mean, that's true. Curtis always told me mods to let chat run. Shrug makes it difficult at times. What's that? If BTC is digital gold, why gold pump and BTC dump? I mean, that's true. People don't really want to hold physical gold. It's just a fad. We are in a bear market. Maybe. Again, think about it. BTC is 107,844. It's still over its previous all-time high. Yeah, you know, it's still above its previous all-time high, so you're like, it's fine. Luckily, I bought 3-month Discord. I haven't even got $8 leaving off the misses. Where do I sign up for the Discord? Are you not already in the Discord? The Discord link comes up. Beebs, I thought you were in the Discord, bro. You not in the Discord? What are you doing with your life, Beebs, if you're not in the Discord? You get access to the premium because you're a channel member as well. I thought you were in the Discord. Are you really not in the Discord? Man, you're an absolute chopper, Beebs. Do you know that? Head to the description. Link is in the description. Or if you want, then that is also it. And if you're on TikTok, by the way, it's in my pinned, it's in my profile, so you can get it. There you go. That should be it, by the way. Is that a new... Why does it keep changing? Why does my fucking entry keep changing? Expire after 7 days. No, I don't want it to, I don't want it to ever. Beebs don't deserve it. He had it gifted membership. There you are, Beebs. I've just seen you. Verify user. Welcome in. Beebs. There you go. Look, found you. You get that run, and then you get that taken off you and that taken off you. There you go. Boom. You're already in, bro. Welcome in. If in doubt, just zoom out. That's true. So there you go. So now if you look, Beebs, you should be able to see the... you should be able to see the bottom bit, which has got like the chart requests, alpha calls, trade signals, VC opportunities, although we haven't got any VC opportunities just at the minute. But yeah, you should be able to see all that stuff at the bottom, which you can get, which other people can't. Tuba, did you ban the guy in Discord earlier? Which guy? I didn't ban anyone. I don't know if Jesse did. Ricky, what's going on? Who's the guy that needed banning? At the Fox Facts, I tell everyone to treat BTC like your 401k. That's true. That's true. Eat the dip. Eat the dip with some salty chips. Yeah. You can throw me in the Discord, Beebs. Feel free. Who do I need to ban? Maybe I need to put something in there that's like, ban this person. DM me, by the way. He was posting links called announcements or something. I blocked him. Okay. I'll have a look. Because yeah. They're called announcements. Oh, there. I got it. Ban. Boom. Boom. See you later, alligator. Right, got him. Got him. He has been banned. Yeah, got him. He was posting links. Yeah, so yeah, weird. I mean, this is the good thing, by the way, of not having automated. We don't have an automated verifier. You get put into a channel that I can see who's in there, and then I can see kind of whether they change their name. So the number of times I go into the verified channel, it's like, oh, there's a 2-bit crypto in here, and it's like, yep, it's not me. It's not me. So were they putting links in the main chat or not? Or is it gone? I don't see anything. Maybe it's gone. Maybe it's gone. Is Craig in Discord? He loves banning people. Craig is in the Discord, yeah. Buy 250 BC every Friday and send it straight to a core wallet. It's a great strategy. Aiden says, at least I'm in a good community. That's true. That's true. And we want to be here hopefully to provide value and hopefully to make it worthwhile, which I think is important. So don't mean we always win, but hopefully we do. Hopefully we do. Good. All right. Well, look, markets right now, 107,951. Feels like the 200 EMA, or the 200 EMA is going to be a very critical role for us right now. And hopefully we can manage to hold this and keep focused. I did look at this yesterday. Hold on a minute. Which I thought was interesting, but I want to try and break this down a little bit more because it's a bit weird. And I didn't really understand it. If I'm dead honest, which again doesn't feel great. But one thing that I want to keep an eye out for is the bull market support band. We'll touch on this a little bit more. I'm just trying to work out. Basically, this is a combination of the 21-week EMA and the 20-week EMA, and you sort of get an idea as to where it is, which should give us an indication as to the strong points of the bull market. Hopefully, not going below that, but it's not the best of indicators. There's a slightly better one that I need to bring up. But once we get that sorted, then yeah, I'll make sure that we have that. And it'll just give us, I guess, a kind of drop dead point of saying, hey, we're still bullish, we're not bullish, etc., etc., etc. Hopefully we can maintain the bullishness. Fingers crossed. If not, then it is what it is. I do want to see us close back above 108. That would be good news, particularly on the daily candles as well. This is probably where we're looking at. If you go to the weekly, we're miles above the 200 EMA. But yeah, 108, 104 is the 200 EMA. That's probably the number we're looking for. For a close, I think that'll probably be okay. That'd probably be okay. I think any lower than that starts to get a little bit painful. But as always, I'm going to be here tomorrow night, breaking the markets down. Look out. We will be doing the midweek analysis for the premium Discord members as well. So look out for that. That's going to walk through a couple of the key data points that came out today, etc. So that'll be sent in there a little bit later on. As always, though, don't forget, if you haven't already hit the subscribe button and if you haven't already smashed the like button, I would massively appreciate it. It does help out the channel. And I think what's really good to see, and I just want to give a big shout out to all the new people that are joining the channel, all the new people that are coming in, really appreciate it. And yeah, I don't say this lightly, but I genuinely think you found a great community that really all want to do well. So thank you for tuning in. And again, shout out to the TikTok crew. I'm going to speak to you guys in just 2 minutes. But as always, thanks so much, everybody. We're going to catch you back here tomorrow. Don't miss it. It's going to be epic. See you soon.